Hi, I'm Jacob from Cambridge Center Honda. I do the deliveries here at the dealership, so when you get a new vehicle, I'm here to explain all the features. And right now we're in the CR-V hybrid, and there's a lot going on with these hybrid vehicles. If you've never owned a hybrid before, there's a lot of new things in here, and that's what I'm going to do today, tell you a little bit about it. If you've come from a hybrid, you kind of already know that the car converts kinetic energy into electric energy. Think of one of those wind-up lights. You can wind it up and the light turns on. There's no battery, but it's using the energy you put into it to produce a current. And that's essentially what the hybrids do. There's a lot to it, back EMF and all these terms, but I'm not going to go too crazy. Today I'm here to talk mostly about a feature on the hybrids. You can have your car in drive, and it's going to drive like a normal automatic car. When you take your foot off the gas, the car is just going to keep rolling. But if you want, you can utilize the hybrid car to do something called deceleration. You can control how much the car decelerates when you take your foot off the gas. If you're going towards a yellow light, you can tell the car to slow down more, so you don't really have to use the brakes as much. That poses a couple benefits. It charges the battery with regenerative braking, and it saves you brakes. But there's more to it than that too. Here on the dash, you'll see there's one arrow here, right beside the little B icon. So I can have it in drive and I can have it in B, right? When it's in B, you'll see these arrows beside the B, and that's showing me how much deceleration the car is doing. So one arrow is the least amount of regenerative braking force. Just like an automatic car, it will just coast. Level 2, level 3, and level 4 with the most amount of regenerative braking force. So when the gas pedals let go of it, just slows down a little bit for you. That being said, one arrow is just normal automatic car driving. When I take my foot off the gas, the car is going to roll. There's no resistance. But if I use this minus paddle, I can add more deceleration. And the more deceleration I have, the more the car is going to slow down when I take my foot off the gas. And again, why is that useful? I got a yellow light coming up. I can add a little bit of deceleration. When I take my foot off the gas, it kind of just brings me to a nice slow coast. It's not going to stop the car for you. You still have to use the brakes, but it's doing regenerative braking. So it's building up your battery. And the more battery you have, the more battery you can put towards driving the car. So that's, again, it's not something you have to do by any means. You don't have to drive everywhere in B, but I think you get the most out of the hybrid when it's being used in B mode. You save your brakes, you get more battery, and like I said, the more battery, the better for the hybrids. If you're used to a manual car, you would know when you shift down a gear, when you take your foot off the gas, the car slows down by itself, right? Engine braking, it's called engine braking. You can think of this B mode like hybrid regenerative engine braking. It's a very similar feeling when you take your foot off the gas and the car kind of lurches, it slows down, right? It's very similar to shifting down gears, but it's not using the transmission. These paddles don't affect the transmission like they might in your other Hondas. The gas Hondas, sport models, these paddles will be used to change gears. You can go up and down gears with these paddles, but in the hybrid it does not affect the transmission. It only affects the amount of force the regenerative braking is using. There's different types of hybrids. There's plug-in hybrids, there's series hybrids. This here is a parallel hybrid. So if you see the screen here, the battery and the motor work together to drive the car. Some people, they'll come and they'll say, when is it just going to use the battery? Or when does it go into electric mode? The hybrids never use just the battery or just the motor, or very rarely. Sometimes if you're going very slow, it will do just the battery, but most of the time it uses both together in parallel, right? Together. That being said, again, my car doesn't power up through the wall. You don't plug it in to charge it. So the only way it gets more battery is by using regenerative braking. And again, I could control the amount of regen it's doing. The more battery, the better. And it has some benefits, like I was saying. It kind of slows me down so I can control it. It is something you don't need to do. I think new hybrid owners, this is getting a little complicated, but it's something you can. It's getting a little complicated for maybe a new hybrid owner, but this is something you can play with. The car's a normal car, you can drive it like such. But if you want to really take advantage of the hybrid, you can use that B mode to have a little bit more control. The more rotational force, the more electrical gain you would receive. So if you're going really fast and you start doing regen, of course it's going to build up more power for the car. It's like winding the light faster. So there's a lot of ins and outs to how the hybrids operate, but really it's just a car. You just drive it, and that's the lovely part about the hybrid CR-Vs as they handle just like a gas CR-V. They're essentially the same as a gas CR-V, but they have this extra benefit of running off the battery. It saves you quite a bit on the fuel, for sure. Before working at the dealership and having some experience with the hybrid vehicles, I've just been a normal internal combustion, a gears and oil type of person, but you really can't argue with the results in the electric cars. It's a pleasure to drive, it's nice and quiet, and there's benefits to it. I'm sure anybody that's shopping hybrids has figured that out by now. They're undeniably a little bit better. And really, for me, as a car nerd, I enjoy delivering the car because there's more neat features that I can explain. And there's tons of benefits. I'm not saying you need to do it, but you can definitely take a look at it. It's something that you should look into. You can come and test drive anytime at Cambridge Center Honda. Try these features for yourself. You'll see what I mean.